Cool. What's up, everybody? This is Daniel with King Watch LA. It's been quite some time since I last spoke to you guys about Lakers basketball, but we're going to be doing this once a week, every week for about 15 minutes, just doing like a Lakers recap, Lakers highlight, a lot of Luka, like a lot of Braun talk, a lot of Austin Reeves talk, and just kind of getting ready for the postseason push the Lakers are trying to find themselves on. And it's probably the best Lakers team we've had since 2020, 2021, and things are starting to look up for us in Lakers land. So just going to be going over what the current team actually looks like, how they've been playing, which if you've been following along for the last 21 games, we basically have the best record in the NBA during that stretch. We've been 17-4. So a lot of exciting stuff to go over with you guys in the next 15 minutes before the Lakers play the Clippers at 6:30. It sucks that both Austin and Rui are going to be out tonight when they've been playing tremendous basketball for the last basically month and a half since January 15th, which is the date that all of us Laker fans kind of look at as to when this team flipped the switch. So just going to be going over some of that for the next 15 minutes. And yeah, obviously going to start off with what Luka Doncic looks like, which is crazy that he can play like shit for 36 minutes and still drop 30 points and 5 assists like he did last game against the Clippers. I feel like there's only a few NBA stars that can play like shit and average 30 and 5 basically. And both Luka and LeBron are on that kind of pedestal where they're going to fill the stat sheet regardless of what happens. And it's just been kind of a whirlwind watching him play, watching him kind of get back into game shape. You can tell he hasn't played basketball in quite a time. And also for me, I didn't really watch the Mavericks, didn't really watch Luka before he got to LA. I am kind of getting used to how he plays, a lot slower than I actually thought Luka was. There's a lot of Kyle Anderson in his way that he drives to the basket that I was unaware of. A lot of slow, decisive moves heading to the hoop. Obviously, a better shooter, a better playmaker, a better everything than Kyle Anderson is. But when he's going to the hole, that's just who I see. And he's not the best defender, but he does know how to get steals. He knows how to play the passing lanes, which I would assume that's because he's one of the best passing players the NBA's ever seen. So he knows what the angles, he knows where the passes are going to be, and he just seems to kind of be where the ball is going to be in transition. And that's, I think, like one of the games he had 4 steals, which is pretty cool to see that he might not be the best on-ball defender, but team defense-wise, he's at least going to be there, and he at least gives an effort in that way. And going forward, I think he'll get a lot more like the Luka we saw in the last year's Western Conference playoffs, which is 35, 8, and 8, basically. Right now with LA, I believe he's averaging 21, 8, and 6, and he's shooting 24% from 3. I believe the 3 ball will come once he gets more kind of adjusted to playing every day. He's only played 29 games this year, which is it's what, half the season he's missed already. And I think this is the first time he's going to miss an all NBA team because he won't have enough games played. So we'll see where that goes going forward. Next, we're going to talk about LeBron James, which I think the last month and a half is some of the most impressive basketball I've seen from LeBron James in a Lakers jersey. Obviously, the 2020 season was his best, in my opinion, but we've seen him kind of lock in defensively that had been missing the past year and a half from him. Ever since the Anthony Davis trade, I feel like he's taken it upon himself to be the defensive anchor. Obviously, he's not our best defensive player. I think that's Dorian Finney-Smith, but the team goes how he goes on defense. If he's actually engaged, actually trying, you see Rui follow suit, you see Austin follow suit, you'll see the rest of the team buy in when he's communicating, when he's switching, when he's actually playing defense. And Jackson Hayes buys in. When he doesn't buy in, you see not just him, but kind of everyone else not contest open threes, not get back on defense, not really switch to the capacity that they're actually supposed to be switching to. So it's been nice to see once he commits that the rest of the team follows, and he's doing that while averaging, I believe, 29 points and 10 rebounds is what he averaged in February. So you're giving, I don't want to say he's should be on the all defensive team list because I think that's the first half of the season. You don't get credit for playing defense only half the season, but since January 15th, he's been to that caliber. And it's been amazing to see him also be able to hold up on the offensive side as well. And I think getting Luka is the best thing for Braun to be able to play the entire game, not just one side. He'll be able to play both sides. Luka can control the tempo, can control the offense, can control everything. Letting LeBron just kind of chill, like play off ball, play amazing defense, take over when it's needed. And I believe they've actually paired very well together. You kind of see what I think the Lakers thought with this. Obviously, you're going to trade for Luka 10 times out of 10, but you can kind of see the thought process with LeBron and Luka playing so similar that they molded this team around LeBron. They never really molded it around Anthony Davis, which is one of the reasons why I think maybe there was some thoughts previous years that we weren't going to build around AD and we're going to ride out LeBron and AD and see what happens after. And then when Nico Harrison said we'll trade AD for Luka, obviously you say yes to that. You have shooters around Luka and LeBron, and you have a stretch big, not a stretch big, a role threat big, which is Jackson Hayes, and that's kind of who fits around both Luka and LeBron at this stage in the career. And when LeBron steps off the court, you see the same offensive patterns that Luka's going to run, that LeBron's going to run, so they don't miss a beat, and the Lakers don't die when LeBron checks out of the game anymore. So you can kind of see that what they were going for was just having the same team play the same exact way for 48 minutes. And very excited to see the last 20 plus games of the season and where the Lakers ended up. Right now, they're third. They have a chance tonight to finish second in the West after the Clippers game at 6:30. It sucks both Rui and Reeves are going to miss tonight's game because those are two players you're going to need against a team above 500. The Lakers played 4 games this week against teams above 500, and so far they're 3-0. We'll see what happens after the game. But if they win tonight, they're tied for second. They're going to have so many games coming up in the month of March, so it'll be kind of important to see how they hit the ground running and kind of see who's going to step up in that regards. Gabe Vincent starting tonight, which half of the season Gabe Vincent's played well. The other half he's played like trash. And the past couple games, I don't know if it's having so much Luka, Austin, and LeBron have the ball where Gabe Vincent kind of feels out of rhythm, out of the rotation just a little bit because it feels like he's forcing shots. So we'll see what tonight looks like because he's going to have to play. It sucks that Jordan Goodwin's out as well, but Gabe Vincent's going to have to probably give you 10 to 15 points because you're replacing Rui and Reeves, who have for the last month and a half given you 30 plus points combined. I believe closer to 35. And sometimes the NBA is just a math problem. Luka and LeBron will give you 60. Where's the other 40, 50 coming from? And Gabe Vincent's going to have to do 10 to 15 a night. I think this stretch of games without Rui is going to be big for Dalton Connect to try to find, does he fit in with the Lakers? Does he matter for the Lakers going into the playoffs? Does his skill set matter for the Lakers going into the playoffs? Because he's a shooter. He's a shooter that can kind of rebound better than I thought he could, and he could also has a little more athleticism to finishing around the rim. So he's going to get open looks playing with Luka and LeBron. We'll see if he's able to capitalize because I don't think if he plays kind of how he was playing after the trade got declined, or not declined, but rescinded, he's not going to be in a playoff rotation going forward. He won't be playing any crucial minutes for the Lakers if he's not able to step up with both Rui and Reeves out, because this is a really good opportunity for him to show that he can actually play at the NBA and play in minutes that matter. Instead of just playing 8 to 10 here, chucking up shots, he's going to probably play 25, 20 minutes tonight. So we'll see what he's able to do tonight and going forward. I believe if he's able to get an actual rhythm, an actual spot in the lineup, he'll be able to produce, but it's just something needs to click for him because he seems to be in his own head with the trade not going through. And since he's came back, he's just chucking up shots instead of taking them in rhythm. And what I mean by that is he'd normally either pass back out to Braun and then try to float on the arc and get a wide open 3 instead of whenever he touches it, just let it go. And I hope that changes tonight. So we'll see about that. And we're going to be wrapping this up in about 5 minutes, but just want to talk about where the Lakers are, where they've came from in the past 21 games. January 13th, they dropped to 20 and 17. And then We were 7th seed in the West. We were wondering if we're going to be close to the play-in. We were going to be wondering about how we can finish the season. What does the rest of the season look like? You heard rumors about trading LeBron. You heard rumors about trading Anthony Davis. You heard about LeBron leaving this summer in free agency, retiring, what that was going to happen. And there was just a lot of questions in the air. And then ever since then, they've been on one hell of a run, going 17-4. In the month of February, they went 10-2. The only two teams they lost to in February was the Charlotte Hornets and the Utah Jazz, which is a crazy combo of teams to lose to in that month, because who they beat is even more impressive. They beat the Clippers, they beat the Nuggets, they beat the Celtics, they beat the Warriors. So it's like you're okay with those two losses, since they were able to beat pretty much everyone else in the month of February and climb out of the lower play-in, which is right now looking like a dangerous spot to be in, because in the play-in, you got the Warriors, you got the Mavs, you got the Clippers almost being there, you got the Kings, you got the Suns, and 1 to 2 games to get into the playoffs is almost as dangerous as I think playing a 7-game series, because for 1 to 2 games, you don't know what'll happen. You get one shot. It's basically a game 7. You don't know. Whereas in a 7-game series, it's more balanced. You can kind of like find your adjustments, find your rhythm, find your team. So I think it was great that the Lakers were able to kind of go on that run to get out of the play-in, because LeBron's 40. You never know. He's done one hell of a job of basically taking care of his body, being able to play on a back-to-back, being able to play as many games as he has, because you heard the slander he got for missing the All-Star game. I don't really care that he didn't play. I don't care that he didn't give up his spot to someone else. What I care about that he was able to play 3 straight games after the All-Star break. He was able to play before the All-Star break. You're an All-Star on your merit. You're an All-Star on what you do. Yes, you should play, but if you're that old, obviously accept the invite to the All-Star game and then just be healthy for your team going forward. I was happy with that decision that he chose to rest, chose to focus on his Lakers push for the postseason, because I think Luka and LeBron definitely might have a better season next year, because they're going to be able to surround the Lakers with a actual center instead of Jackson Hayes, who in his defense has played pretty well recently. But he's not a starting center for a NBA championship caliber team. But with the way the Lakers play, which is small, they might have a chance this season. Obviously, Oklahoma City Thunder, they are so far ahead of everyone else in the West. They definitely have the MVP. They definitely have the best roster from 1 to 13. But you never know in a series with Luka and LeBron. Luka and LeBron are two of the greatest offensive machines I think the NBA has ever seen. So in a 7-game series, they steal 2 or 3. Role players win 1. You never know. But again, they're definitely trending in the right direction. They've definitely shown that this is a team to believe in, a team to buy in, a team to still build around LeBron and give him a chance to get his 5th championship, instead of kind of waiting for his dust to settle in LA and then start rebuilding after. They already got who they're going to rebuild around, which is Luka. But I believe Luka and LeBron still have something to prove to not only themselves, but to the Mavericks, who obviously didn't believe that Luka's style of play could lead to a championship. I definitely think that he's going to use that as motivation, not only this year, but going forward, to kind of prove them wrong. Maybe he'll get his own version of amnesty that, but I believe the state of the Lakers is a lot of happiness. There's a lot of joy. There's a lot of pride in what Lakers basketball is currently. You see them giving a shit the entire night, instead of whatever they were doing in the beginning of the season, where they try to get by on just talent instead of effort. And you've seen JJ Redick, who's done as good of a job as you could have ever hoped for. Was very pessimistic about that hire as a coach, because I just haven't seen him do any coaching besides, I guess it was his middle school team for his kids, or his elementary, whatever that was, and then his broadcasting on ABC and ESPN. He's had them, I think, more in the moment, more ready for the challenge, and more up to actually fighting, instead of Darvin Ham, who kind of basically just said, it is what it is. It's a marathon. be okay with losses basically. And JJ's been more, I think, in tune with how Laker fans feel and how Laker fans want the season to go. We are always championship or bust, and I think um, JJ JJ's done his best to adhere to that, because you saw the way he attacked that Nuggets game as a coach is more than I think Darvin Ham did in 2 years. He had the Lakers bought in from opening tip to when the game was over, and we hadn't seen that for a while. And yes, it's always nice to beat the Nuggets, but it was just cool to see a coach have a game plan and the team follow it from A to Z. So I'd say for his coaching grade, I'd give him a B plus, A minus. There's still some times where during the course of the year that you can tell makes some bonehead decisions and he's in over his head a little bit. But yeah, I actually changed that B plus to an A minus, because you can't give him a B. It has to be an A minus, because where the Lakers are right now, which is 16 games over 500, with as many injuries as the Lakers currently had in the beginning of the year and what they have now, it definitely has to be an A. All right, that's probably going to be it for the night, because the Lakers and Clippers are being off in 5 minutes, and here before I watch that. And thank you guys all for joining me. This has been Daniel from King Watch LA. We're doing this once a week. Gonna try to find a night that works best for my schedule coming up, but we're definitely going to commit to once a week. And thanks for Hoops and Brews for having me. It's been real. Thank you guys.